Welcome back to another episode of 40 Facts About the 40k Universe. I am your host, Gersh1, and you are watching One Mind Syndicate. Today we continue talking about Space Marine chapters as we get into the Flesh Terrors Part 2. If you have not checked out Part 1, which explains who the Flesh Terrors are, please click on the link above or below. That's going to take you to the video for Part 1. And again, if you have any suggestions for other Warhammer 40k topic ideas, comment down below. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe because we post Warhammer 40k content every single day. With that said, let's get into 40 facts about the Flesh Terrors. The gene seed of the Flesh Terrors bears all the hallmarks of the successor chapter of the Blood Angels. Its best known characteristic is the psychic imprint of Sanguinius's memories, which leads to the affliction known as the Black Rage. This can cause them to go insane and enter a berserker rage prior to or during battle, as they feel the anger that Sanguinius himself felt during the Battle of Terra. The condition is largely irreversible and incurable. The Flesh Terrors are known to fall prey to the curse of the Black Rage far more often than any member of the other chapters descended from Sanguinius's lineage. This is believed to be due to a mutation in their gene seed, but their combat doctrines and military philosophy may also influence the frequency of this tragic psychogenetic syndrome. At the time of their formation, the Flesh Terrors chapter discontinued the Blood Angels practice known as insanguination, which involves the drinking of a small sample of Sanguinius's own blood in an artifact known as the Red Grail, to activate the implanted gene seed within their aspirants. Some might speculate that this practice could have contributed to the horrific mutation and degeneration of their gene seed. Unlike the Blood Angels and their successor chapters, the Flesh Terrors are far further along in the descent during madness. Unlike the Blood Angels and their other successors, the Flesh Terrors are far further along in the descent into madness, and their gene seed carries a heightened version of the flaw which may well spell their complete annihilation within the space of a few short decades. This means that even the most mentally stable and strong-willed of the Flesh Terrors feels the touch of the Black Rage and the pull of the Red Thirst, knowing full well that it is only a matter of time before they succumb and the madness takes them completely. A Flesh Terror battle brother knows that as soon as they become an initiate of the chapter, it is not a question of if, but when, and how long they have until they completely lose their ability to tell friend from foe. The chapter's apothecaries believe that their gene seed also grants its recipients a significant extended life expectancy, in keeping with its lineage. However, this point is largely moot. The life expectancy for most new initiates to the chapter is less than 2 standard centuries. While a few of these inductees may die from war, the vast majority fall prey to the Black Rage. For unknown reasons, the Flesh Terrors succumb to the Black Rage far more than other successor chapters, and therefore these Astartes are dwindling in number. Numerous efforts have been taken to attempt to mitigate the sudden and severe onset of the Black Rage among the chapter's battle brothers. The adoption of nightly bloodlettings and purification rituals have not been shown to assist battle brothers in their efforts to resist the Black Rage, nor has it mitigated the syndrome's effects once a Space Marine has entered the latter stages of the curse. The only treatment for those who fully succumb is reassignment to the Death Company and isolation within the chapter's Tower of the Lost. A fortune few find solace in death when they continue to serve their chapter on the battlefield as members of the Death Company. Less fortunate battle brothers are subject to permanent incarceration once the High Chaplain of the Death Company has lost the ability to control them. The combination of a rapid decline due to the Black Rage and their proclivity for brutal assaults have increased the chapter's rate of decline. This is why the chapter currently only has enough Space Marines in its rank to deploy 4 full battle companies. In many instances, Flesh Terrors have died before their progenoid gland can be properly harvested. This combination has cut into the chapter's available supply of gene seed, as well as limiting the number of veteran Space Marines capable of training new inductees. For this reason, the number of members assigned to apothecary training has recently increased, as has the prioritization of recovering these precious glands from fallen battle brothers. The cumulative effects may be that the Flesh Terrors could become a non-substantial chapter within a relatively short time, unless some sort of extreme measure is considered. The Flesh Terrors also suffer from the Red Thirst, an overwhelming desire to physically taste their enemy's blood. Unfortunately, when this trait is combined with the Black Rage, it can devolve into outright cannibalistic assaults by the enraged Space Marines. The cursed Astartes of the Flesh Terrors seem doomed to watch the ongoing collapse of their beloved chapter. Even as they revel in the destruction of the Emperor's foes, they must also watch as their comrades give in to the curse of Sanguinius's gene seed. In spite of this, they remain valiant servants of the Imperium, rather than giving in to the woe and despair. They constantly strive to fight against the curse as bravely as they can fight those who oppose mankind. As true tragic heroes, the Flesh Terrors remain devoted to their cause, even in the face of ultimate defeat. As the Black Rage continues to consume its membership, the leaders of the Flesh Terrors have come to the inescapable conclusion that their beloved chapter may be doomed to eventual disintegration. They continue to seek a cure for this curse, but some consider their eventual depletion inescapable. Some among the leadership have begun to embrace the notion that if they cannot continue, then their best approach is to make certain that they leave a bold legacy, in keeping with the chapter's proud traditions. Most vital to these traditions is the way that they embrace savagery in combat. This is likely a combination of their susceptibility toward the Black Rage, as well as the Blood Angels' tradition of excellence in assault actions. Even with their acquisition of Cretaceous as a homeworld, the Flesh Terrors proudly exhibit their preference for the native survival in the face of the planet's massive creatures requires an ability to overcome even the most extreme odds through constant warfare. Of course, the Flesh Terrors are tremendously unlikely to compromise with regard to their savagery. The Flesh Terrors have a long tradition of attempting to honor these memories by fulfilling the Primarch's and the Emperor's wishes for a galaxy under complete Imperial compliance. In many instances, the only way the chapter has a reasonable chance to achieve victory is by taking the most extreme of actions against their opponents. There are very few known instances where Flesh Terror commanders ever hesitate to unleash weapons of cataclysmic proportions. With each battle won, the Battle Brothers of the Flesh Terrors feel confident that their Primarch's legend has been preserved. This serves as the most effective method of preserving his glory, as well as that of the 9th Legion he once led. In many cases, the worlds targeted by the chapter have strayed in some significant way from the Imperium. It is these conflicts that offer the greatest temptation for Flesh Terrors to fully engage their thirst for savagery. Those who show any taint of heresy, or who even choose to ally themselves, however briefly, with heretics, are targeted for purging. In some instances, purges have continued well beyond a reasonable level. As Battle Brothers of the chapter continue their acts of savage brutality long after a justifiable conflict has been completed. For many Flesh Terror Space Marines, such frenzied battles represent a very real warning of the doom that encroaches upon their minds. With each period of savagery, their chance to return to a more stable state of consciousness can become increasingly difficult. This represents a very real sign to these Battle Brothers that their final emotional and mental collapse approaches them. Like their fellow Astarte chapters, the Flesh Terrors also maintain a librarium of potent psychers who are highly talented and trained to master the powers of the warp at the highest levels. Each chapter selects its librarians in its own way, either from seed worlds, as it does with the bulk of its initiates, or from the ranks of gifted psychers brought to the Scholastica Psychanum of the Adeptus Astra Telepathica. Most chapters train and test chosen psychers following the ancient ways laid out in the Codex Astartes. Librarians of the Flesh Terrors are trained in this way, and with few minor variances, have been taught to live by the word of the Codex. Flesh Terrors librarians have a number of unique psychic abilities only used by the psychers of their chapter. One of these is the Depths of Rage. This is when the librarians of the Flesh Terrors chapter are well versed in the use of psychic powers while struggling with the Black Rage and Red Thirst. Many have even developed powers which tap into the rage deep within them and use it to further fuel their powers or enhance their abilities. Another unique psychic ability is the Flensing. The Flesh Terrors often live up to their name when engaged in combat, skinning their foes with well-precise blows from their blades and chain weapons. Librarians of the chapter are no exception, and the Flensing power has been developed with such hideous injuries in mind, allowing them to more effectively earn such grisly trophies. Lastly, a Flesh Terror librarian can use the psychic power called Razor Blades. When a Flesh Terror librarian, like the other battle brothers of their chapter, understand and appreciate the virtues of a good sharp blade, by focusing their psychic power, the librarian can make an edge keener and steel sharper, so that it might more easily bite into the flesh and bone. And those were 40 facts about the Flesh Terrors. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. There's going to be another part, I'm pretty sure. If you don't want to wait for part 3, jump on over to the wiki page. More information is on there, and of course that page has information that we're not going to cover in the series. So please click on the link below. If you have any suggestions for other Warhammer 40k topic ideas, let me know in the comment section below. And again, this chapter is just so amazing. I'm kind of regretting not starting like a small Flesh Terrors army. I might in the future. I love the fact that they understand the destruction of their chapter is inevitable, and they just keep going. Really awesome chapter. And again, guys, thank you for liking, commenting, and sharing. If you want to support us a little bit more, jump on over to Patreon. A simple $1 a month helps us create more videos. But with that said, I'll catch you guys tomorrow. This was Gershwin with One Mind Syndicate, signing out.